Today's walk doesn't need to be a good one. Today's walk doesn't need to be productive. It doesn't need to feel good. It doesn't need to check a box. It just needs to exist. Some walks are just placeholders, and that's okay. Existence is enough.
Good morning, guys. You can see what kind of day it is today. It's that. It's that. It's this. It's okay. It's okay. It'll pass. This too shall pass. On my way to Bastion and Bland tonight. I'm gonna stay at Didgeridoos. Great pastel guy. Talked to him for a while. A few nights ago. He's gonna let me stay and recover. It's supposed to get down to 28 degrees tonight with 28 to 30 mile an hour winds. So I cannot stay in a shelter because I no longer have that gear. Boo. It is spring. Spring is springing now though, and it's misty and rainy. It's not super cold, a little chilly maybe tonight, or today rather. Tonight, obviously, cold. So we're doing our best. Doing our best today. Honestly, the last few days has been a little rough. Having a little bit of a hard time. Kind of tired. And just doing our best. So, anywho, today I'm having a lighter pack day. Not a slack pack per se, but a lighter pack day. Prepper and Subman took some of my gear from me so I could reduce the weight of my pack a little bit to help baby my hip. It is still recovering. Working on it. Rotation, internal, external rotation, flexion and extension, all the things. Adduction, abduction, all the stuff. So, I got a cork ball. I've been rolling it out, doing all the things I know to do to help it. Ibuprofen. I didn't do any ibuprofen this morning, but I will probably when I stop to eat some food, just for the second half of my day today. Anywho, yeah, so the hip is hipping still. I can feel it a little bit, especially as I change incline. I go from flat to incline, I can feel it, and then incline to decline, or whatever, flat to all the things. Anyway, brain's not working good this morning, clearly. The wind kept me awake a bunch last night. It was very windy, very, very windy. Last night I was at Burke'S Garden Hostel, and we're in a Amish pole barn. So the roof is a little thinner, but the wind was just blowing it around like crazy. It was wild, so loud. Other than that, I slept pretty good though. Bed was comfortable. I was fed and cared for, dry, warm. So that's always nice. But anywho, I'm gonna keep walking. You can see the glory of the day, or not. Kind of looks like something from a horror movie out here. I'm expecting a skinwalker or something to come strolling around the corner any second. Maybe they'll let me join their club. I could be a skinwalker. Maybe I am a skinwalker. No? But, oh, the trail's getting kind of pretty. Looky there. Got some grass and some rocks. I'm just gonna enjoy the things I can while I can. So, okay. Out here. Toodaloo. What's up, guys? I found the king of the Appalachian Trail as I'm walking off trail. Prepper. Finally, I meet Prepper. He's been walking with me all day today. He saved my ass this morning when I was feeling low and shitty and tired. And then my blood sugar dropped and he had Reese cups and gave me them, and it saved my life, probably literally. I would have just walked off a mountainside and been like, I hate everything, goodbye. So he's saved me. We've been chit-chatting all day long, and I can now say that I've met the king of the Appalachian Trail.
Calamity rocks!
Oh my God, I rock. Do you hear that? The king said I rock. I just need him to like dub me the queen or the princess or something of the trail now with one of his trekking poles, and I'll make it to Katahdin. Yeah! I got it! I got it! I got it! I'll be the female knight of the Appalachian Trail, so Mistress Calamity. Anywho, we're gonna get back to hiking, but I just had to share my meeting the celebrities. Bye guys! What's up guys? Coming to you from Weary Feet Hostel. Zeroing today. I decided to zero because I'm exhausted. I went to sleep last night at like 8:30. Not the good kind of like, I'm gonna go to sleep, but the kind that you're just like, your body gives you zero choice. I was like watching my phone, and then I wake up at like 10 o'clock. My phone's on my stomach and I'm just like, so that happened last night. And then I woke up at 6:30 this morning and I was like, I cannot walk today. And so I figured out, as I've been like looking back at my videos and like seeing how I progressively get like more tired through the day. I yawn a bunch, and like my sugar dropped the other day and whatever. I think I just have been under fueling a little bit. Like I think I need more food. So I ate an entire half-gallon ice cream while I was here, and I've eaten a huge breakfast today. I've had a lot of food today. So I'm gonna see how I feel when I get back out on trail tomorrow. I'm gonna be going to Woods Hole, and I will see how it goes. But I've just basically been laying around most of the day, not really doing much of anything. I'll probably do a little bit of stretching here soon. I'll eat dinner, I'll eat dessert, and yeah, it's a well-deserved zero day. I hadn't zeroed in like 6 days, so I felt like it was really about time, even though it was kind of inconvenient for the itinerary that I had planned. But I'm glad that I did it here because Weary Feet has a couple of new owners, and honestly, it's better than it's ever been. Weary Feet is amazing, and I would highly recommend it to anyone and everyone looking for a hostel in this area, this Bland Bastion area. So I had a question, or rather, since it's a 0 day, why not? Q&A day. I've had a few questions. One was talk about the West Highland Way in Scotland and how amazing it was. I've done the West Highland Way 2 times. I did it 1 time with my husband, and I did it 1 time by myself. The first time I did it was by myself in 2023, fall 2023, I think. It was calamitous. I brought calamity to Scotland, 2 tropical storms back to back. I was just walking in driving rain and crazy fluctuating temperatures and stuff. But it was still really fun. It was cool to go to Glasgow, stay there for a while. It was cool to walk the way, get up to Glencoe. Some of my funniest hiking stories come out of the West Highland Way trip, that first one. For example, I got to the Glencoe Mountain Resort one of the last nights that I was on trail, and I set up my tent because with how bad the weather was, every single cabin, every single indoor place that could be booked was booked. People were like on floors and taking up space, but I got in there so late that I couldn't find an indoor space. So I had to set up my tent outside with just like a handful of other people. Well, the wind was kicking off 40, 50, 60 miles an hour. My tent stakes were getting like pulled up out of the ground. My tent was blowing over on me. I had a to-go coffee cup. I was peeing in this to-go coffee cup all night and then pouring it out of the flap. The 3rd time I peed, I filled up the to-go coffee cup with my pee, tried to get ready to pour it out the flap. The wind came, hit my tent, hit me, and knocked me over in my tent on my stuff with a full to-go coffee cup of pee. So all my stuff smelled like pee. I was like feebly dabbing it up with a dirty sock, trying to clean my tent. So the next day, a really, really nice guy put me in his Mazda Miata, me and my giant pack, and took me over to the King's House Hotel. I got a room at the King's House Hotel, and it was okay. We pull up, and there's like 6 Lamborghinis out front. They had a wedding going on. I look like a dirty hiker hobo, and I smell like pee. Everything is covered in pee. I'm soaking wet. It's awful. I walk into the front of this like 5-star hotel, and I'm like, I need a room. I need my room. Help me. The woman behind the desk, the receptionist, was like, the rooms won't be ready until 3. She was really grossed out by me. And to be honest, I was grossed out by me too. But as I'm walking into the receptionist, there's like the bride and groom sitting right there, like looking at me also. And I was like, well, can I sit somewhere? Do you have somewhere like out of the way that I can just like exist in my disgustingness? So she sent me to the like other end of the hotel where there was like a little tavern thing. And she made me keep my pack up behind the desk, the front desk, my pee pack. It was a day. And then she let me into my room at like 2. So I sat in the tavern thing for like 5 hours waiting for my room to be open. But then flash forward, last year in September, my husband and I went to did the West Highland Way also, and we had a much better time. The weather was way better. You start in a little town called Mulgai, which is like, I don't know, it's like a 30-minute train ride north of Glasgow. And then you go up through the Highlands, and you end at Fort William, which is where they filmed the show Outlander, from the, Diana Gabaldon books. I haven't stayed in Fort William at the end at all. I usually just take the train, go back to Glasgow, because there's some great restaurants in Glasgow. But more or less, you go Mulgai, up, you get to Loch Lomond, you walk up the side of Loch Lomond, and then after you get past Loch Lomond, you go up a little more, and then you go through Rannochmore, and then you get into Glencoe, and then Fort William from there. Basically, there's like towns and things, but you can pretty much stay at like a B&B or a hostel or something every single night. You can get food. The terrain's not too bad. If you're a hiker already, or if you've ever done any of the AT, one day on the AT is the entire difficulty of the West Highland Way, if I'm being honest. So West Highland Way was really cool. Another question I got was people trying to hike with like hyper flexibility, which they also call hypermobility. I think somebody, Sarah B, I think, asked about her ankles specifically. And so hyperflexibility isn't necessarily something that you have to be super conscious of when you're hiking. It's only when you exceed safe limits for joint movement. Like if you were to step down and you roll your ankle is probably going to go a lot further than somebody else's ankle, which may actually be beneficial. Like you can roll over on the side of your ankle to the ground where my ankle might snap. You probably would want to train some of those joint functions. Like you might want to train in pronation or supination or whatever and work on that. Like butterfly squats is one that I might recommend. You might want to look up kin stretch. That is a modality that I actually train. I'm an instructor for kin stretch, but kin stretch is really helpful for establishing like end range control. So if you, like, for example, could like hyperextend your elbow or whatever, you want to establish better control over the full movement, especially from like here to here and then like here to here. It just helps. So I wouldn't say that like on its own being hyper flexible is inherently bad for the trail. You may actually end up getting injured less than someone else who is more inflexible. But you may also end up with more aggravated connective tissue that you have to baby and take care of and be a little bit more conscious of that. So yeah, I would look up kin stretch and I would also train some of those joint qualities so that when you are at end range, you have better mobility or strength under flexibility, strength through flexibility, if that makes sense. Another question I got was, how do you know how many days worth of food to carry, or how do you carry enough food to be out on the trail for multiple days at a time? I'll show you the gear that I use at some point, but I basically just have a stuff sack that has a zipper on it that I carry all my food in. I personally, and this isn't necessarily normal, but I did an Excel spreadsheet before I came out here with my full itinerary. Now, obviously that was like gone in the first day and a half on trail, but I have been updating it. Every time I make a change to the itinerary, I update it and I keep going. So I have my sections that I'm doing between hostels, like shelter 1, 2, 3, hostel, shelter 1, 2, 3, 4, hostel. So I know how many days I'm going to be on trail. I look ahead to see what meals the hostel serves, so like breakfast, lunch, dinner, etc. And I know what the towns are that I'm in, so I know if I can go out to eat or whatever. So if I'm in a hostel, let's say, I take off first thing in the morning, the hostel serve breakfast. I need lunch, I need dinner. And then if I'm in 3 shelters the next 3 days, I need breakfast, lunch, dinner for 2 of those days. Day 3, I'm walking to a hostel, so I may only need breakfast and lunch. So I try to plan based on that, which, like I said, I've been kind of under eating on trail. For me, my body doesn't signal super strongly that I'm starving hungry and I need more. My body's a little more subtle, and I start yawning, or my sugar drops, or I get like progressively more fatigued. My body, it just isn't like screaming for food. So I think that's part of the reason I've lost 10 or 12 pounds out here, and I'm kind of getting into that lower body fat where I'm getting progressively more fatigued. So my big plan was being here at Weary Feet was just to eat. I just ate a half a gallon of ice cream, which is insane thinking about that in terms of my real life. But I had a half gallon of ice cream, and I've just been eating all day. So I had a giant family-sized bag of popcorn. I've been drinking tons and tons of fluids, and I'm just trying to bring myself back up to a more functional level. I inputted all of my data from my hikes, which are my Apple Watch summaries. So the miles I did, how long they took me, the elevation gain, my average heart rate, etc., into ChatGPT. And I said, analyze this for me. And the overall theme of that was your heart rate's going down, which means you're getting fitter, but your pace is also slowing, and then your heart rate has plummeted, which means that you're under fueling and you need to take a 0 day and then taper it back for a couple of days while you're regaining some strength. So that's my big plan moving forward, is to do a little bit better at looking at my food itinerary and carry just a little bit more than I have been, force myself to eat a little bit more than I have been, because I've just been going by my internal cues, which apparently are not good enough. So those have been my really big 3 questions recently. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. On my 0 days, I don't really have a whole lot of content for you, but I love Q&As. I'll do all of them. I'll show you all my equipment. Ask me questions, leave them in the comments, and I will see you guys on the road to Woods Hole tomorrow. Woods Hole, that's the plan. Bye, guys.